Hi there, motorhome owners. Today on your 2011 Ford F53 chassis, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Timbren's suspension enhancement system for the rear axle. Here you can see our two Jounce bumpers side by side. Our factory Jounce bumper here is significantly smaller than our Timbren, and that's due to this is really just to be there for support when our suspension is fully bottomed out. Otherwise, this doesn't do anything. It never actually provides any support under most of your normal travel. With our Timbren being much longer, it's going to contact the axle much sooner than our factory Jounce bumper would, so it can provide support throughout our suspension travel. As you load it up heavier and you hit those larger bumps, go over those speed bumps and things, our Timbren is going to contact and provide you with that support to help smooth out your ride and help support extremely heavy loads to take some of that stress off of your suspension. These are a direct replacement for your factory Jounce bumper. They're going to mount in the exact same location, so you just simply have to remove your old one here and install your new one. You do get new hardware with your new one, so you don't have to worry about your old bolts if they were all rusted and broken. No big deal, you've got new ones to replace it with. Now that we've gone over some of the features, why don't you roll underneath with me and we'll show you how to get it installed. We'll begin our installation by pre-assembling our Timbren springs. Our top side's going to have a nice flat top, and the bottom's going to be hollow, and down inside you're going to have a washer down in there, and sometimes it rattles around. You want to make sure you've got it with the holes lined up so you can see straight through it. Just shake it around. That washer comes inside the spring and there's no real way to get it out. You just got to kind of wobble around till you get it lined up. We can then take the large nut that comes in our kit and we're just going to drop that right down in there. Now we want to check the nut. I'll go ahead and show it to you one more time because there are two sides to it. If you look at this side, it's got the rounded edge. That's the side you want facing towards you. This is the side we want down against our washer here. So we're just going to get that in there, get it lined up. We can then take a 19mm socket on an extension, and that way we got it like this. So then we're going to take our tapered bolt, and our bracket here has a tapered hole in it. We want our tapered end to go down so it lines up and fits smoothly into that taper. Below that, we're going to have our spacer plate. It might be easier to put it this way. So then we're going to drop those down through like this and then install our nut onto the other side of that bolt. We'll then tighten them down using that same 19mm socket, and for our bolt here, we're going to hold it with a 5/16 Allen. Now your top piece here, it is going to rotate like this. That's pretty normal once you've got it all the way tightened down. We're now underneath the vehicle. Above our rear axle on each side, you'll find your Jounce bumper here. We need to remove our old Jounce bumper. It's held in by two bolts. We're going to use a 15mm socket to remove the nuts from the bolts. You may need to use a 13mm wrench on the other side to hold the bolt. Once you've got both nuts removed, the whole assembly will just slide out of there. Now before we go to put our new Timbren in, you are going to want to raise your motorhome up some to give you more clearance between the frame and the axle so you can get the new Timbren in. We're just using our leveling jacks here to lift up on the back of our vehicle, and then we put some jack stands underneath the frame at the back to support it because we don't want to just trust our hydraulic jacks. We can now set our new Timbren into place, and we're going to take the slotted hole here towards the front of the vehicle and line it up with the hole that we had removed previous hardware from on our factory Jounce bumper that's also towards the front of the vehicle. The bolts that we slide through, we are placing flat washers on before we slide them through to get that extra surface area on the slotted holes. On the other side, we're going to loosely secure it with a nylon locking nut. We're not going to go ahead and snug them up. I'm going to get them almost all the way snug, and then we're going to push it up against the bottom of the frame to make sure it's flush on the bottom before we fully tighten it down. We're going to be using a 15mm wrench and socket to tighten these down. Now pushed up against the bottom of the frame, we're going to finish snugging them up. We'll then repeat the same process over on the other side. And that completes our installation of Timbren's suspension enhancement system for the rear axle on our 2011 Ford F53 chassis.